attitude that people perceived
Come on,
him as
Caddy.
having, right?
Caddy,
No,
it was, you know what,
no,
this is what's wrong with political, with all due respect, Caddy, this is what's wrong with political reporting. You take an offhanded quip, and then you blow it up. Everybody on the left freaks out for a month. It was a faux pas, and then here we have something that matters: substance, cabinet positions, one man after another being selected, and you want to give him a free pass, while you and Mika and the media savaged Mitt Romney for his binders comment.
The binders comment got to a broader attitude towards women.
Broader attitude, okay.
Yeah, I think so. Don't you think when somebody makes a political gaffe, when does it resonate? Generally, because it suggests something that people already have a perception of that person, right?
Yes.
It doesn't come out of nowhere. I mean, I think it's because it reinforces some sort of attitude.
So if you say the right things, but you only select men for your cabinet, that's okay?
No, he hasn't only selected men for his cabinet. There's Napolitano, there's Sibelius, there's Susan Rice. I mean, they're all up there. We've had Hilda Solis, we've had Hillary Clinton. It's the idea that Barack Obama doesn't have any women in his cabinet is simply not true.
Okay. His top advisor is a woman.
As I understand what Romney was saying, however inartfully, although I don't even think it was that inartful, really, when you think about it, is what arguably you want CEOs to do, you want managers to do, which is, if we believe that having a diversity of ethnic, gender, economic background voices in a room when a decision is being made, whether you're at a bank or at a university or in a car dealership or the presidency or the governor of Massachusetts, and you get a bunch of lists and you say there aren't enough candidates who will bring about this diversity of views, let's look more.
And you know what, that's the stupidity. That was the stupidity
to blame Office Depot
of that. Yeah, that was the stupidity of the argument against Romney for saying that. And I didn't defend Romney a whole lot during the campaign for all the dumb things that he and his campaign staff did. But this is what leaders do. This is what executives do. They say, bring in the best candidates we can get. That's what Eisenhower did. Eisenhower hired people he didn't even know. His rule was, I don't want any friends. Bring me in everything you got. That's what leaders do, and it was this fake controversy that liberals churned up for a month, and now that Barack Obama, again, I hate to say this because it gets so tiresome saying it, if a Republican in 2013 had a cabinet that looked like that, that Republican would be savage. This is what Ruth Marcus writes in the Washington Post. Obama needs some binders of women. About all those white guys, what a shame. Not an outrage, but a shame. The face of power that President Obama has chosen to present to the country and the world with his second-term cabinet picks is striking, except for the African-American president at the top of the pyramid, for its retro look, white and male. Its Mad Men goes to Washington, except Peggy's leaving. To look at the most important jobs in the government in 2013 and see such a lack of diversity is so drearily disappointing, especially because it could easily have been so different. Imagine the tableau of Obama flanked by Secretary of State nominee Susan Rice and Defense Secretary Michelle Flournoy. That would have been the ultimate "you've come a long way" moment. But you know, Willie, we've heard these stories coming out of the White House since 2009. Sort of, it's a guys' club. The New York Times has reported that. It's a guys' club. He has guys, you know, go golfing with him. He's got guys playing basketball with him. Women have complained quietly about being excluded at the White House since 2009.
Well, I think statistically, President Obama has more women in his cabinet than President Bush did. I think, as Caddy said, he would point to his first term when he did have Hillary Clinton, Janet Napolitano, Kathleen Sebelius, Valerie Jarrett is his top advisor. But I think it does go without saying that if this were a Republican president, it would be a national outrage. And it would be made into a larger point about the Republican Party being a party of only white men. So there is a double standard at work for sure, and I think it's a little surprising, frankly, that President Obama didn't choose any women based on what he did in his first term, which was to put women in high-placed positions.
So let's just erase his first term.
No, that's what I just said.
I know.
Yeah.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, a woman. By the way, Susan Rice might have been there today had she not been completely routed out by a Republican opposition that was, quite frankly, personal.
David Axelrod said that the president was never considered.
Talk about
Susan
old white
Rice.
guys being completely chauvinistic jerks, quite frankly, because she'd be there, Joe.
Well,
there's a very good chance.
That's actually not what David Axelrod said.
Okay,
He said the president never considered her.
Okay, that's cool. That's great. I don't believe it, actually. And
Please don't call my good friend David Axelrod a liar.
We'll never know, actually, will we?
Seriously, a guy
because
that
of what
has come
happened to
here
her.
and shaved his
An
mustache.
African-American woman just, like, pushed out of the way, completely pushed out of the way by Republicans.
Well, that's what it said.
And if you look at the Supreme Court, as Congress said, if you look at his policies that he put in place, if you look at statistically the number of women who work in the White House, you're wrong.
He's great.
By the way, he's the first African-American president.
Is he
This
really?
is a ridiculous conversation.
Hold on.
You know what? Now you're going to humor because you've got nothing.
Can I check
You've
that
got nothing here.
First.
It's
Google
really,
it. I'm going to Google this. African-American.
I think this is Joe.
Of course it's
Do you really? Do you really?
The Google says it's Bill
second-term
Clinton.
picks are disappointing. I think it is. For people who would like more women in the cabinet, of course, like me, the second-term picks are disappointing that there isn't a senior woman up there. It's not as good as the first term. And that photograph, I tweeted it yesterday. How depressing is it to see all men in that cabinet meeting room?
Yes.
I think, they're going to have to watch out how Pete sues the photographs. But you look at what he did in his first term, and Mita's exactly right, in terms of the policies that he enacted, in terms of fair pay for women, putting women into the Supreme Court. This president has done more for women in his first term.
I'm with you. The first thing he did when he got in office.
Lily Ledbetter.
Lily Ledbetter. The first thing he did.
That's the first piece of legislation he signed.
Things for women.
I'm just reinforcing what you said. What are you looking at me like that for?
I'm actually trying to ignore the. I am afraid to use the word because it will not be good for you. Okay, because you're being chauvinistic right now, and you need to stop.
Really? Oh.
All right?
You know
because I'm sorry, this is not funny.
No, it's not funny. It's not funny if you're a woman that works in the Obama administration and you want to go to the highest rungs of that administration. It's not funny. And you can attack me and be personal and make personal attacks against me. You've got a president that you worship on this show every day. You've savaged Mitt Romney. He has a picture that if a Republican president had that cabinet, New York Times would be savaged. And you're calling the wrong guy a chauvinist. You're calling the wrong guy a chauvinist. And seriously, hold on. You want to call me a chauvinist? Right here.
Let me help you.
No. Let me help you.
Okay.
You really, knowing me and seeing me work around here for 5 years, you want to call me a chauvinist on television?
That
you want to say that?
With Caddy was chauvinist.
Do you want to say that on television, that I'm a chauvinist?
I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't. I said the way you're acting is chauvinistic, especially the way you were handling this conversation.
Okay. Well, if that's what you're going to do, because your president that you worship on this show every day is selecting men, and even Ruth Marcus and other people who have said, the New York Times going back to 2009 have said that this White House is not a positive place for women. And you can look at the stories. If you want to attack me as your only line of defense, go ahead. You already did.
Listen,
am I a chauvinist?
I think they're great
Am I a chauvinist? Let's just
you are not.
That question right now.
The way that you conducted your office.
Do I act like a chauvinist in Congress? The way I ran my office there, the way I run my office here? Am I a chauvinist?
No. But Joe, you can't just laugh off.
Read your own book.
Joe, you can't just laugh off.
You can't throw attacks around like that.
Okay. All right.
Personal attacks like that because you're embarrassed about what Barack Obama's doing.
I'm not. See, that's just not fair. I have been inside, I've worked with the White House on this issue, and I've seen it. And I'm very, very, very proud of what this president has done. It has nothing to do with worshiping him, but it has everything to do with opening doors for women in this country so there are more there and in other very high levels of office across the country as we develop as a nation as it pertains to women. But these things can't happen without the proper policies in place and without the proper payment methods in place where women get paid equally to men, where they have equal reason to be at work every day. And by the way, in your defense, you've been an incredible champion on this, which is why I don't think you should laugh at us when we're making a point in this conversation, because it undermines everything that you've ever done, which is amazing when it comes to women in the workplace.
No, it doesn't undermine
Well, I think it does. That's my opinion.
Ever.